Hey, it's Patrick from JMP Cycles, and I'm gonna show you how to diagnose a possible problem with the charging system on your Harley Davidson motorcycle. But let's talk about what would lead you to think you have a possible problem with your charging system. Now, there are a couple typical symptoms that may lead you to believe this. Something like your battery keeps dying, lights dimming while you're riding, dash lights dimming while you're riding, the bike is sputtering a lot when you're trying to ride it, which may lead you to believe that it's a carburetor or fuel injector problem. That can actually be a problem with your charging system. Or you have a check engine light that's throwing a code that is telling you there is an electrical issue. And with late model bikes, those electrical issues could manifest themselves in a lot of ways because they rely more on the charging systems than the early model bikes. We have specific videos for a lot of these tests, and I'll link you to those as we go along. But the first thing you need to do before you get into testing the actual nuts and bolts, so to speak, of your charging system is to make sure you have a good battery. That's step one. And I'll link you to the video that specifically shows you that. But basically, charge your battery up, let it sit, and then make sure it holds that charge. If you're charging your battery and it's sitting there for a day or even a few hours and losing a charge, you could have a bad battery. And quite honestly, that's your easiest fix, is to put a new hot battery in there. Batteries typically only last for a few years, so make sure you have a good battery. Next, I'd move on to the stator. Now, on a Harley Davidson, it's gonna be underneath the left-hand side of your bike here in the primary. And honestly, you kinda gotta dig to get to these, but fortunately, you don't have to get all the way to the stator to test it. There's a plug here and an output, and you can run a series of tests on that stator to see if you have a broken coil in there, if you have a broken wire inside your stator, or you can actually test the AC voltage that your stator is putting out. Next, we move on to the regulator. To test that regulator, you need a multimeter, and again, we have a specific video on how to test those regulators. I'll link you to it, but you're going to want to make sure that it's doing its job. A voltage regulator's job is to take that AC current that's being built by the stator and convert it into DC current and regulate it to a certain amount so it doesn't over or undercharge your motorcycle. That will cover the bulk of your charging system. One of the main issues could be you just have a sputtering motorcycle. And although that could be a charging system problem, I'm gonna throw a bonus test in here for you. The coil. You could have a coil going bad, and honestly, it's kind of difficult to diagnose just by riding it. But as luck would have it, we have a video on how to test that coil. And again, I'll throw that link in here for you. And if you've tested your charging system and everything tests out fine, you're still having a problem with your bike sputtering while it's running, could be that coil. As always, have any questions, feel free to drop us a comment. Go work on those motorcycles.